He invited her to laugh at her, not to welcome her, not to respect her, but to turn her into a quiet joke in front of people who already believed they were above her. And yet the moment she stepped into that room, everything changed. The music seemed to fade, the conversation slowed, and the same people who were ready to smirk suddenly fell silent, because she did not look like someone who came to be humiliated. She looked like someone who owned the moment without even trying. And he, the man who planned it all, stood there frozen, his expression shifting from confidence to disbelief in a matter of seconds, because this was not how it was supposed to go, not at all. And it all began earlier that day when he decided she would be his entertainment for the evening, the daughter of a cleaning lady, someone invisible in his world, someone easy to mock, someone who could be placed under bright lights and made to feel small. He had built his life on power, influence, and control. People admired him, feared him, and obeyed him, and he enjoyed that feeling, the feeling of being untouchable, the feeling that he could decide who mattered and who did not. And when he heard about her, about the quiet girl who kept her head down while her mother worked late hours cleaning his office floors, he saw an opportunity, not for kindness, but for amusement. He told his assistant to send an invitation, a formal one, polished and elegant, as if she truly belonged at his high society gala, knowing very well she would feel out of place the moment she arrived. He imagined her standing awkwardly in borrowed clothes, surrounded by wealthy guests who would whisper behind their glasses of champagne. He imagined the embarrassment in her eyes, the discomfort, the quiet humiliation, and that thought alone was enough to make him smile, because to him, this was just another display of his control over people's lives. But what he did not know, what he never cared to understand, was that she was not as fragile as he believed. She had grown up watching her mother endure silent struggles, long nights, and quiet disrespect, and she had learned something from that. Not bitterness, but strength, not loud defiance, but quiet resilience. She had dreams, not the kind people laughed at, but the kind she protected carefully, like something too precious to expose to a harsh world. And when the invitation arrived, she did not react the way he expected. She did not panic. She did not refuse. She simply looked at it for a long moment, her fingers tracing the elegant letters of her name, and somewhere deep inside, a small spark lit up, not of fear, but of something else, something steady and calm. She understood what this was. She was not naive. She knew people like him did not invite people like her without a reason, but she also knew something he did not. She knew who she was, and that made all the difference. Her mother hesitated when she saw the invitation, worry filling her tired eyes, because she had seen that world before. She had cleaned its floors, heard its whispers, felt its quiet cruelty, and she did not want her daughter to walk into that. But the girl simply smiled softly and said she would go, not to prove anything to them, but to herself, and that was enough. The evening came quickly, and while the mansion filled with guests dressed in luxury and confidence, she prepared in silence. No expensive designer, no stylist, just careful choices, a dress that fit her perfectly, simple but elegant, a color that caught the light in a way that felt almost unreal, her hair styled neatly, her posture straight, her expression calm. She looked at herself in the mirror, not searching for approval, but finding recognition, and then she left. When she arrived at the grand entrance, the guards hesitated for a moment, their eyes scanning her, trying to place her. But the invitation in her hand spoke louder than their doubt, and they stepped aside, allowing her to walk in. And that was the moment everything began to shift, because she did not walk in like someone who was lost. She walked in like someone who belonged, her steps steady, her gaze level, her presence quiet but impossible to ignore. Conversations slowed, heads turned, whispers started, but not the kind he expected, not mocking, but curious, surprised, even impressed. And across the room, he noticed it. At first he thought it was someone else, someone important, someone worthy of attention, but then he realized, and the realization hit him harder than anything else that night, because this was not the image he had created in his mind, not the outcome he had planned. He approached her slowly, his confidence shaken but not completely gone. He still believed he could control the situation, still believed this was his stage, his world, And she was just a guest in it. He greeted her with a polite smile that did not reach his eyes, his words carefully chosen, but there was something beneath them, something sharp, something testing. He expected her to stumble, to hesitate, to reveal the discomfort he had planned for her, but she did not. She responded calmly, her voice steady, her words simple but clear, and every second that passed made him more uneasy, because the control he relied on was slipping, not dramatically, not loudly, but quietly, steadily, like sand slipping through his fingers. The guests around them watched closely now, sensing the shift, sensing something unusual, and for the first time, he felt it, not power, not confidence, but doubt, a rare and unfamiliar feeling. He tried again, subtle remarks, indirect comments, small attempts to remind her of where she came from, but she did not react the way he expected. She did not defend herself, did not argue, did not shrink. She simply stood there, composed, unshaken, as if his words had no weight, and in that moment, something changed, not just in him, but in everyone watching, because they saw it too. They saw the difference between forced power and natural presence, between arrogance and quiet dignity, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, the attention shifted away from him and toward her. People began to approach her, not out of pity, but genuine interest, asking questions, engaging in conversation, drawn to her calm confidence, her authenticity, and he stood there, watching it happen, realizing that the narrative he created was no longer his to control. The evening continued, but not as he had planned. The spotlight he intended to use against her became something else entirely, something that revealed more about him than about her. And by the time the night reached its peak, the truth was clear to everyone in that room. She was not the one being humiliated. He was, not through loud confrontation, not through revenge, but through contrast, through the quiet strength she carried and the emptiness behind his arrogance. And when the event finally ended, when the guests began to leave, taking with them the impressions of what they had witnessed, he was left standing in a room that felt very different from the one he had entered, and she, the girl he thought he could break, walked out with the same calm presence she had carried in, not looking back, not seeking validation, because she did not need it. Her victory was never about proving him wrong. It was about remaining true to herself, about walking through a situation designed to diminish her and coming out unchanged. And sometimes, that is the most powerful kind of victory, the kind that does not need applause, the kind that simply exists. Undeniable and complete.